Welcome everyone. On behalf of Forge College, I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this explainer. Today, we're diving back into the smart contract security track, specifically focusing on advanced techniques in Slither and Mythril. We're picking up right where we left off, automating those scans in CI/CD pipelines. We built that beautiful automated system, right? But today, we're shifting gears to tackle the human side of the equation, triage and analysis of complex findings. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so picture this. You've successfully set up your pipeline. You push your code, the scanners spin up doing their thing, and then, boom, your CI/CD pipeline just dumped 500 JSON warnings right into your lap. Now what? You ask the automated tools to find potential issues, and, well, they certainly over-delivered. It's this overwhelming wall of text, a literal monster amount of data that can make even the most seasoned developers kind of want to just close their laptop and walk away. But hey, don't panic. We just need to make sense of this noisy robotic output and find the actual signal in all that noise.
So here is our game plan to do exactly that. We're going to cover the post-scan triage phase, prioritizing findings, corroborating Slither and Mythril, minimal test harnesses, packaging artifacts, and finally the prioritized debug report.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the post-scan triage phase. We really need to bridge that gap between cold automated machines and us human reviewers. Triage is essentially building your initial case file. Think of yourself as a detective here. The automated tools, they're like anonymous tips. Some are great, but let's be honest, most are garbage. Triage is that absolutely vital intermediate step where you sift through those tips, verify the evidence, and convert that raw, noisy output into a prioritized, reproducible debug report. And you do all this before handing it over to the prosecutor or, in our world, the formal security reviewer.
Moving right along to Section 2, prioritizing your vulnerability findings.
Look, you simply cannot fix all 500 warnings at once. It's impossible. We need a system. Consider these two scenarios. On one side, you have a high-severity theoretical issue. Sounds terrifying, right? But you have absolutely no clear way to reproduce it. On the other side, you have a medium-severity issue, but you have concrete reproducible traces. So what do you tackle first? Well, the highly reproducible medium-severity bug actually demands a higher operational priority. Why? Because an unprovable theoretical flaw is basically just a ghost. But a reproducible medium bug, that is a real threat actively sitting in your code right now. So prioritization is really this mix of both potential impact and concrete exploitability.
All right, Section 3, corroborating Slither and Mythril.
This brings us to my absolute favorite part, our two favorite analysis tools working together like a classic buddy cop movie. Think of Slither as the beat cop. It patrols your code quickly, using heuristics to blow the whistle the exact second it sees something suspicious. It's super fast, but yeah, it can be pretty noisy. On the other side, you have Mythril, the forensic scientist. Mythril takes its time. It reconstructs exact symbolic execution paths to prove exactly how a vulnerability could be triggered. When you extract a Slither JSON warning and pair it perfectly with an isolated, meticulous Mythril trace, you create bulletproof, cross-referenced evidence. It's honestly a beautiful thing.
Let's walk through the exact forensic process of matching these two outputs together. Step 1, you extract the relevant Slither JSON fragments using command line tools like JQ to cut out all that extra noise. Step 2, you isolate the Mythril traces that reach those exact same code locations. And Step 3, you annotate your artifacts to explain the connection explicitly. You are doing the heavy lifting, the hard forensic work right here so the formal security reviewer doesn't have to guess. You are literally handing them a completed puzzle.
Section 4, building minimal test harnesses.
Finding the issue just isn't enough, right? We have to prove it reliably with the absolutely smallest footprint possible. Let's be real for a second. Have you ever tried running someone else's code and it fails because of some missing, undocumented environment variable? Ugh, it is a reviewer's worst nightmare. Empathy for the reviewer is absolutely key here. Keep your state setup minimal and deterministic. Use a local test runner or a local EVM. Only include specific block timestamps if the bug actually relies on them. Don't throw your entire production database at a test just to trigger one tiny edge case. Keep it small, keep it focused, and for the love of Web3, document your environment variables.
Which brings us to Section 5, packaging reproducible artifacts. Once you have all this solid evidence, we need to box it up neatly into a single, predictable CI/CD artifact package. A clean, predictable folder structure is going to map your scripts directly to their expected outputs. Notice how a script like trigger_reentrancy.js explicitly states its expected output, like a transaction revert or a specific state delta.
We have our setup state.py returning an exit 0, sitting right alongside our condensed Slither warnings and our specific Mythril trace files. Everything is named so predictably. A reviewer should be able to look at this directory and instantly know what each file does without even having to open them.
And finally, Section 6, the prioritized debug report. This report is your final deliverable. It's a single markdown file mapping every single finding to its evidence and reproduction steps. But before you submit it, you've got to pass the checkpoint methodology. Step 1 is the fresh environment test. Clone your repo into a brand new directory and see if your scripts actually still work. Step 2, evidence cross-check. Make absolutely sure the lines flagged by Slither actually match the paths proven by Mythril. Step 3, the minimal reviewer run. Hand your README to a colleague and have them follow it blindly. If they get stuck, well, your instructions aren't good enough. And Step 4, document confidence notes. Explain clearly why you believe false positives are unlikely. This shows a really deep mastery of the problem. The ultimate goal of our entire triage phase really comes down to this one golden rule. A reviewer should receive evidence they can replay, a prioritized list they can trust, and clear next steps for deeper analysis. If you follow this meticulously organized blueprint, you're going to elevate yourself from someone who just runs a scanner to a highly valued security professional who actually solves complex problems.
So, what's next? Your work today feeds directly into our upcoming steps in the track. In our next lessons, you will bring this prioritized debug report with you as we move into the foundations of vulnerability analysis. We'll use your perfectly packaged artifacts to definitively classify true vulnerabilities versus false positives and actually begin drafting formal vulnerability report sections. Your triage work here is literally the bedrock of everything that follows.
I want to leave you with one final thought. You have the raw logs, you have the automated tools, but do you have the discipline to build an airtight case? Security isn't just about finding bugs. It's about proving them so clearly that they simply cannot be ignored. On behalf of Forge College, thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. If you want to master these investigative skills and explore even more amazing Web3 topics, I highly encourage you to visit forge.college. Keep learning, stay curious, and I will see you in the next one.